God, I feel the Holy Ghost right now.
Hallelujah.
Paul, you're the worst of all of them. Of all the sinners, you're the chief.
Yes.
You slay people
Yes.
for believing in me.
Yes.
And I'm going to choose you to write the most phenomenal epistles in my book. To teach people how to live. You hated Christians.
Yes.
I'm going to use you to teach Christians how to love.
Yes. Yes.
You kidding? We can't get that. Friend, I'm glad I don't serve a cool God. I'm glad I don't serve a trendy God.
Amen.
I'm glad I serve a real,
Yes.
genuine, authentic God. Let me tell you where real moves of God takes place. It's not in churches of 5 and 6 and 7 and 10, 100 and 5,000. They have moves of God. I'm not, whatever. Let me tell you what it's when a group of people get it in their heads that they're going to change their world. And they're going to stop saying that they're full of excuses why they can't believe in this and can't believe in that. And they start being passionate. The only way we're going to grow is for us to start being passionate about what we believe. Would you raise your hands with me if you would right now?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Come on, I feel the Holy Ghost all across this place. Love Him. Love Him with me right now. Jesus. Church, we got to stop being a movement. That when Jesus doesn't jump through our hoops, that we go looking for something else.
Yes.
I'm getting ready to close in just a minute, but I've kind of got this place in my spirit through this, where I look at things and I see people, men of God, that have failed miserably. They've done some deplorable things in their homes, in their marriages. Preachers, pastors, people that should know better. And these things happen, and we cut people off, and we shame on you, and we put them to hell immediately, and we don't give them a chance of any kind of redirection or redemption. And I've got this thing that I'm looking at, and I'm thinking to myself, the children of Israel were God's chosen people, and they called on God. We need a deliverer. And when the worst possible thing, Brother Barry, was happening to them, they kept calling on God. But when they were actually delivered from bondage, and they were free, they got bored. And that's when they started looking for something else to worship. You know what happens? When we're in the middle of the pressure, some people break. But when you're in the middle of the pressure, some people get closer to God. But I believe when a lot of people fall is when they just get bored with Jesus. And they're just alone. They feel they're alone. And so they just look for something tangible to touch. Something to fill that void. Now, before I close, here's something you and I have to come to grips with. We are not serving a God that will be trendy, that will worship you or your ideas, or that will be cool to you all the time. In fact, you're going to have to commit yourself to a relationship with God when people stare you in the face and tell you that you're ridiculous, you're not relevant, you're behind the times. When I heard that posing church member tell me what they told me about the screens and the songbooks, it shook my spirit. We are leading people to believe When we say, I want you to come, and I want you to hear our praise team. Whoo! Best on the planet. We want you to come because our church does this and our church does that. Every time that I talked about the drama that we had on Sunday night, I gave Brother Hedges props. I did. I said, he wrote this drama, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? There were times that I was doing it that I felt convicted in my spirit. Because it's like I was saying, man, if we could do that next Sunday, you need to be here. Never mind the fact that when everybody got up and started singing healing, and people started standing up,
Right.
and real tears started to flow from their face.
Yes.
It was not the drama.
Right.
And it wasn't the choir. It was the awesome presence of God that they will feel nowhere else.
Oh, right. So true. So true. That's right.
They're not going to get in the bar. They're not going to get in the crack shack. They're not going to get it at the strip club. They're not going to get it on the street corner or anywhere else for that matter, but they are going to find it in this place. As long as we keep this place passionate about what we believe. Just what we think. I'm convinced that this message tonight, I'm convinced that it was the greatest message that Jesus has ever put in my spirit. Because I see myself, and I look into the mirror, and I see how many times I was shallow, and how many times that I bailed on God because He delayed. And other people were touching Him. Other people. God, can we, as pastors, can we repent to You? Because the church down the street had success, and instead of worshiping You, we were looking for another calf to make it happen. When everybody else is growing and everybody else is baptizing people, and we go looking for another calf. We go looking for a lifeless, empty image. We don't consider who's in the mountain giving us hope. I want you to close your eyes. And from your heart, I want you to worship the Lord with me. Because we're all in this together. We've all been so terribly, terribly guilty of worshiping God because it's fashionable, because it's trendy. We can go to a winter retreat, we can go to a camp service, we can go to revival, and we can worship God just like nobody else worships God. But it's because it's trendy. Did we stand up when everybody else stood up, or were we the first? Sister Susan, did we run the aisles when everybody else did, or were we the first? Did we wait for the pastor to say, come to the altar? Or did we get up and come to the altar because we felt it in our spirit pulling us to be passionate about what we believe? God, keep us from fashionable things.